Hello. I heard that, I saw it on Facebook, I don't know how true it is, that Tinubu is trying to dialogue with Biafrans. Whoever is carrying that narrative, you should be very careful. If there is any dialogue Tinubu is going to have with Biafrans, he must bring NNAMDI KANU out and dialogue with him. That is the only credible person whom Emeka Livingston knows that Tinubu can dialogue with in respect to the Biafran issue. Any other person you go to meet does not represent the Biafran interest. I don't care whatever anybody says because it is not right. You will only say the right thing before I care. If you want to dialogue the Biafran issue, go and meet NNAMDI KANU. Any other person has a personal agenda, and Emeka Livingstone does not support that person, will stand against that person, will condemn that person's movements. There's only one man who has stayed for Biafra and who understands the problems we have and has carried it on his head and paid the price, and above all, sent by God to come and do this thing. It is NNAMDI KANU. It is now clear, everybody knows that Gumi is a terrorist, but he's still going about free. The Nigerian government has not done anything. That's the hypocrisy of the Nigerian government. That is why I support Trump doing whatever he's doing to bring about sanity so that we can have our own nation. Why not depending entirely on America? I'm asking in Igbo. What if a person like Trump hadn't come up? What will happen? Because this thing about Biafran liberation can never end in a roundtable conference. There must be a fight. There must be a war. You can't get it. Somebody who is oppressing you and holding you to ransom cannot let you go free. Look at when the children of Israel were in bondage in Egypt. Did Pharaoh let them go with good mouth or laughing or conversation? No. It involved God dealing with the armies of Egypt, killing them before they could understand the language of releasing these people. Let my people go. A lot of you are just there hoping, waiting on Donald Trump. I like the idea, but I'm asking you, so without Trump, there are certain things that are happening now in Nigeria, which people like us, who are supposed to be in obscurity, are suddenly coming out to speak. I, for one, don't believe that we shall get Biafra through negotiation, understanding, or mercy from Nigeria. No. It must involve a violent act. And I don't have to wait on America. But if I begin to fight, Americans can come to my aid. What if Trump was not there? What will happen? Personally, I am willing to bring myself out to fight, to raise up an army against the Nigerian government to see to it that the Biafrans are free. It is no crime. Yes, it is no crime. If I raise up an army to defend my people from genocide, it is not a crime. Because the man who is raising his army to come and defend my people is using weapons of war, is using violence. And if I choose on my own self as Emeka Livingstone to speak for my people and raise up an army that will go into Biafra land and fight, secure a place, and begin to fire Nigerian soldiers, nobody should blame me. When God brought judgment against Egypt, when they were holding children of Israel to ransom, the punishment did not only come to Egyptian soldiers. It came to human beings, their families, because they were killing God's people. Let's be reasonable about this thing. Otto von Bismarck of Germany, it says the issues of the day shall not be settled through roundtable conferences, but by blood and fire. Even though that man was, a lot of us, we don't support Germany because of their ambition to take over the whole world. But what the man said on that is true, based on what is going on now, not based on what went on then. But even then, it went on blood and fire because Germany did not want to reason. And therefore, by blood and fire, Germany surrendered. If you begin to look at Nigeria, that Nigeria is going to allow the Biafrans go free on a platform, it's not true. The Northerners have said it openly. Northern elders, Gumi has said it. ISWAP has warned, bow before us and change to Islam or become our vassals forever. They are free to kill you according to their religion. And you ask me to sit down. If Nigeria, listen, Ndibo, if you agree, forget about it, oh. I'm a preacher of the gospel, but I can't, it boils my stomach every day to see people killing our people, messing our children, our women. Are they going to annihilate us? Shall we die? Because we're trying to be nice, like Soludo is, Devumahi, Opus Odima, they're selling us. No. If it becomes expedient, we have to raise an army, a very formidable army, that will clear these people from Biafra land. And we tag them terrorists. That's what they are. Any man you see in Biafra, whether it's putting on a German for is a terrorist. And that's the only way we are going to fight and get our freedom. They that are coming to kill us, nobody's arresting them. Why would you come and arrest me for saying that I want to defend my people? I am not the aggressor that is going to the north to kill them. They came into my land, and I want to raise an army to kill them back in black and white. There's no need hiding words, because they don't want peace. They don't want to leave us alone. They want to kill us, and we're not going to allow them. So, Biafrans, if you stay there and be waiting for, I thank God for Americans, but we don't have to wait for them. There are also men like us. They have balls. We have to take our lives into our hands, go into the battlefield, and clear every Fulani man, every terrorist from our land, every part of Biafra land, clear them entirely, and put a stop to it. Even if the General Musa or one army man said, if we find a governor who is sympathetic to terrorists, that we are going to leave him to fight the issue. You see, that's criminal. As a soldier, you should see that, because he said that that governor is a terrorist. We shall allow him to contend with terrorists. No, you should arrest the governor. He's a terrorist. He's violating an act. But you will not, because all of you have hidden agenda. Where the government cannot get up and arrest a governor that is supporting terrorism, remove him from office. You allow him to continue with terrorists, to kill the people. That is the Nigerian deceit. If I have a chance, I will carry up arms in defense of my people against the Nigerian terrorists in the land of Biafra. I, Emeka Livingston, said it. It is true. I'm not hiding my mouth. God bless you. After all, I'm not going to their land to kill them. I'm not interested in killing anybody. But you can't come to my land and mess my people up and get away with it. That's not going to happen. Not now and not forever. Amen. Hello. This is Emeka Livingston. There's something going on in the internet where an Igbo man was accused, a screwdriver seller, that's what they call him, that he shot just to denigrate and despise him in Onitsha, that he influenced the American decision to bomb terrorists in Sokoto State. And this information came, this narrative came through this lady, Ruth McLean, a New York Times African Bureau chief. You know, her own is to support or maybe to lend credence or whatever, you know, because this narrative has been carried out in the public first that it was IPOB that influenced Donald Trump to begin to fight against Nigeria. Now they are narrowing it down to an Igbo man who, incidentally, is a man of a lot of respect. He's an activist. Okay? So this woman that said this thing, I don't want to respond to the Nigerian press. Especially which is, you know, influenced by Yoruba people mostly, pushing this narrative, because it will be my dignifying them if I respond to them. And my response is Ruth McLean. By the way, Ruth McLean, before America bombed Nigeria, they consulted with Tinubu's government and they approved it. The Minister of Foreign Affairs Minister said it. Go and ask Femi Fani-Kayode. They also said 10 minutes after the bombing, he called him and the man confirmed it and gave him details. So the government of Nigeria was contacted and they agreed that they should bomb Sokoto State. It turned out that Sokoto State happens to be the headquarters of ISWAP and other Islamic activities in Nigeria. So even though there were no terrorists operating there physically to kill people, but the headquarters of Sokoto and America had to bomb it. They didn't do it without informing the Nigerian government that gave their consent. It says it's a collaboration. Now, the government does not want to come out to say what you are saying is wrong, because they don't have respect, they don't have dignity. Otherwise, it would have been very ridiculous to imagine that having agreed with the Americans, a journalist of your caliber is coming out to say the Americans depended on the information given to them by a screwdriver in Igbo land. What is wrong with selling screwdriver? It's a machinery manufactured by a company. Somebody can be a distributor. Igbos are not ashamed to do any business as long as it's legitimate. There's dignity in labor. That's one. And then number two, to get information, intelligence information, maybe to attack a country. Normally, allies don't depend on the ones they have. They cross-check with other allies. And then when they gather information from here, they put them together, it begins to point towards one thing, that actually this person, this country, this nation, these people, this group, they're involved in such a thing, we're going to deal with them. And America was so good that they had to inform Nigeria, and the Nigerian government told them to come and bomb. And they bombed them. How come you're not turning it around that it is an Igbo screwdriver seller? You are trying to make mockery of the Igbo. You mocked yourself. Remember, Donald Trump sent Congressman Riley Moore to come and check what's going on in Nigeria. He did. He came. And he's reporting to Americans openly that Nigeria is a very unsafe country for Christians to be. And there's genocide being committed against Christians. Then Senator Ted Cruz too was part of it. What do you say about that? For you, being a journalist with the New York Times, making such claims is very shameful. I wouldn't say you are ignorant. I would say that you are just complicit to this propaganda that the Nigerian government. Are you part of those that are you among the $9 million? Or are you trying to worm your way into the house of Nigerian government so that you can get your own court? You know, they're very good in bribing. They don't believe in doing good to their people or to their nation. So if you can speak in favor of them, they can send you something. But it means it's a disgrace. You see, when the president says a lot of you are fake news, people don't doubt him because these are the things which you do. See how you have debased yourself to the extent. Look, Ruth McLean, you are a shame and a disappointment to the profession of journalism. You have failed the ethics of your profession. You have failed the American people. You have failed New York Times. You are a disgrace and a shame. You have failed your husband, your children, if at all you're married and you have kids. You are a shame to your friends and community. Okay? First, they accused IPOB. Now it's an individual. That's the narrative the Nigerians carry against us. Biafra will go. Nigeria has to be divided so that we'll find our way and work ourselves out. God bless Biafrans. Make some explanations so that we get things straight. Because there is something going on in this struggle. There are certain elements that are beginning to come up, which I don't like. Because I don't want tomorrow, when NNAMDI KANU comes out with Biafra, instead of allowing him pick his team and run the government with a good example that shall be followed thereafter, he'll be having so many people to contend with who are there, either claiming one thing or the other. So I'm going to name one by one. Okay, let us start with Simon Ekpa. Listen to me. Today is the 16th of January, 2026. You don't link BRIGE, we don't know it, with Biafra. Because what you link Biafra with is IPOB. Biafra had been before IPOB was formed. IPOB simply means the indigenous people of Biafra. I mean, specifically identifying the people that constitute Biafra. And so, NNAMDI KANU formed IPOB. And then he laid structures on the floor, raised offices. We had the Department of State, DOS. We had an HOD in the person of Chike Doziem. Now, while they ran and held sway, Problem only came when NNAMDI KANU was kidnapped. That was when DOS faced their most challenging times, that they lost membership and credibility. Okay, but that's it. But DOS is still an office inside the structure of IPOB. And therefore, you see IPOB carrying out programs in overseas, fighting tooth and nail, both home, in respect to the Biafran issue. Now, when you look at it, the organization that was proscribed by the Nigerian government, which the British refused to endorse and the Americans refused to endorse, was IPOB, not BRGIE. Get the facts straight. Don't join two of them. There is this young man that comes out, direct something, you know, one black, dark young man, fine young man. He makes a lot of analysis, but he's making a mistake here. You don't mix Simon Ekpa with NNAMDI KANU. They are not the same. If you bring them together as one, you discredit NNAMDI KANU, you discredit IPOB. Remember, IPOB does not recognize BRGIE. And BRGIE does not recognize IPOB. Get this straight. So I don't like what is going on. Some bloggers will come out when they want to say we are going to have referendum, they'll put the face of NNAMDI KANU, put the face of Simon Ekpa. NNAMDI KANU does not identify with Simon Ekpa in the things he did after NNAMDI KANU was kidnapped. In fact, he boldly came out and said, he only fell short of mentioning names, that those people who are going about doing things in his name, that is not with them, that you cannot kill the people whom you say you are protecting. Now, as bad as Nigerian government is, Nigerian government could not identify BRGIE with IPOB. Nigerian government could not identify Simon Ekpa with NNAMDI KANU. Know it, regardless of how bad and wicked they are. Because NNAMDI KANU consistently, while in detention, appearing in courts, said that don't kill our people, I don't do this, I don't do that. So it was clear, explicitly clear, that NNAMDI KANU has a vision. And if you are not going to toe the line of that vision, then you are not part of him. Even though you go out to do whatever you want to do, it's your business. Again, there was a time, BRGIE, when it was formed by Simon Ekpa and his cohorts, they openly said there is nothing like IPOB again. That if you consider yourself an IPOB member, you are an enemy of Biafra. That's what he said. Do you understand? Yes. And then Simon's BRGIE disbanded, according to them, which will never happen, ESN, and brought in the BLA, the Biafran Liberation Army. Do you understand? So when people come up, they want to make comment on Facebook or YouTube, they say, you know, our people are very good in giving nonsense information, which does not have any basis. Because if anything is happening from America, America will tell you they have a better means of communication than ourselves. Okay? They come out and they will just tell you, hope for NNAMDI KANU, referendum is by the corner. That Tinubu has spent 9 million naira to lobby people. So referendum is by the corner. What is the connection between that referendum? The point is, the pressure is on Tinubu. Instead of Tinubu trying to prove himself that he's going to fight bandits this time that America has come, a willing country, willing nation that's against banditry and Israel, Tinubu rather went to Turkey. And Turkish people, the Turkish government, are known to support ISWAP, advance them, finance them. Do you understand? So Tinubu chose to identify with the rebels, the criminals, the terrorists. So by them sending money to launder their image in America, it shows that it's an indictment on their part, confirming, admitting that in fact they're involved in banditry and terrorism in Nigeria. I mean the government of Nigeria. So they are now going to launder their image. That is going to give a different narrative to the international community. No, this is not what we are. Look at what we are. This is our purpose. We want to advance it. Help us. See with us. But if Tinubu is sincere, once Donald Trump made the intention to attack bandits, he would have come in agreement with Donald Trump. That would be the best country to work with. And Israel, if you think you want to remove banditry in Nigeria, the most effective people you will follow is America, especially the Israelites. The Israelis, especially the Israelis. If you give them, they will locate these guys and deal with them and kill them. The Israelis will do it very, very well, eliminate them. So, but Tinubu, because he works with Shetima, and by affinity or affiliation, he is also a terrorist, because a money launderer and also a terrorist. They decided to approach Turkey, which is a country which the international community see as a haven for banditry and terrorism. Okay? So, those people who come out now to say, hey, something is happening, Biafra will soon get a referendum, it is only to sell their stupid pages. They are not saying the truth. They don't have anything to, they're just trying to use NNAMDI KANU, Biafra to make money. They are not coming there to measure that. That's why we are not content creators. Our audience, we are telling you the truth the way it is. Okay? Now, I just want that one to be clear. Don't join BRGIE to IPOB. No. Oil and water don't mix. So, listen, I was in autopilot. And because NNAMDI KANU said listen to Simon Ekpa, by the way, it was not only Simon Ekpa that NNAMDI KANU said we should listen to. He made mention of listening to other people, but emphasized on Simon that he was doing something great. So when NNAMDI KANU was abducted and were angry with DDoS, they were asking Chigedozim, he couldn't give a proper account of his principal. We felt that they were not carrying out the spirit of the struggle. We decided to have that, from that IPOB autopilot, with the hope that we'll carry the spirit of the struggle, continue with the Umeri account, contributing money to see to it that money is sent to ESN, our men on ground, that were there to defend our territory against Fulani terrorism, Yeti Allah. But along the line, Simon Ekpa had other plans, himself and Azuka. They decided the money made them to grow big. Their pants became very big. And they began to have their own personal agenda. That was when Simon Ekpa brought up the idea of BRGIE. And when he brought it, it was to program himself as a prime minister with a cabinet. Those people who don't think very well, who are so selfish, who are so wicked, forgetting that NNAMDI KANU was in detention there, languishing. Simon will come drinking and dancing on TV, on social media, and those people will be praising him. Meanwhile, their principal, who is in charge of this thing, is languishing in detention. And I told him on 1 or 2 occasions that that is wrong. That I think we should focus on doing something for Onyendu, that I don't call you all these names which they call you. What I know is you are a servant. That's what I told him. And he didn't find it funny, but that's the truth. So when, at the time when Simon formed BRGIE, the intention was to replace IPOB with BRGIE as a government, so that he can gun for legitimacy within the international community. This is something NNAMDI KANU personally went from one meeting to the other. He addressed the European Union. He made submission to the International Criminal Court. He sent a submission to United Nations. Okay? Now, but Simon used another plan, courtesy of Ngozi Orabweze, who gave him the idea, and Ogenkere, who was there to finance it. Now, when this happened, they decided, they told him that remove IPOB and bring in BRGIE. When you bring it, you now know that we have a new government, not under NNAMDI KANU. NNAMDI KANU is IPOB as an organization. BRGIE is a government. And you be the prime minister. Okay? And then you will take over and begin to run everything, so that when Biafra comes, the one that will be recognized by the international community is BRGIE. Now, I told Simon that God has a purpose. There's a way NNAMDI KANU runs this thing. With penny, throw, but with the truth. If we can operate on that, we're going to go far. No, he didn't want that. He saw money. He saw a lady who will, at short notice, if Simon is feeling lonely on a Saturday night and needs somebody to stay with, she can just take a flight from America and fly to Finland, give him what he wants, spend money, and come back. That satisfied him. You know, if you're going to be a freedom fighter, you have to deny yourself, you deny your comfort, you deny everything. Like NNAMDI KANU said, he did not come into the world to make money and build houses or own cars. That is not his problem. That he came to get Biafra for the people. So you can see his intentions are clear. His vision is clear. And if you are going to work with NNAMDI KANU, you should walk in that line. You will be unbribable.
Because if it were something about money, the amount of money promised NNAMDI KANU, if the Nigerian government had given 1/10 of it, 1/100 of it to Simon Ekpa, he would have long ago disbanded the Biafran idea. Just like Ravi Kengo Ruago talking trash. So, when he formed the Biafran Republic government in Nigeria, he became the prime minister. So, by reason of authority, by reason of honor and respect, NNAMDI KANU was merely a leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, an organization. But Simon Ekpa was effectively the leader and prime minister of Biafra. So, as the prime minister, he can disband IPOB at will, and he did. At a certain stage, Simon Ekpa's BRGIE declared that IPOB is disbanded, that what they have now is BRGIE, Biafran Republic Government in Exile, that if anybody opens his mouth, hello Prince, God bless you, if you're free, man, you are going to join me, okay? Just give me indication. So, if you are going to be a Biafran, you should not identify with IPOB. Autopilot said it when they transformed to BRGIE and said in replacement to IPOB, we have BRGIE, which is not recognized by the Biafran people. Then number two, Simon Ekpa also disbanded ESN and said there's nothing like ESN again, that what we have now is the Biafran Liberation Army. So NNAMDI KANU structures were set aside by Simon, and he cannot. He just did that among his goons, such that he strategically placed himself that perchance, hopefully that NNAMDI KANU dies in prison, he, in quote, being the spokesperson, leading BRGIE, he will carry the Biafran thing to the extent where at the end of the day, he already had a cabinet and be recognized. He had already formed states in Biafra. Have you ever seen such things happen? You don't form states without consulting with the people of the land. Up to today, we have an Anambra state. All that Simon Ekpa said is trash. So Ludo is still committing his atrocities in Anambra state. Nobody recognizes it. So all these people who work with Simon Ekpa that are going there trying to front that, look, listen, NNAMDI KANU, no single offense was found against him, even to the point of the 20th of December. The whole world knows it. So even though Nigeria is as crooked as it is, could not in any way latch or identify or link Simon Ekpa's activity with NNAMDI KANU, BRGIE with IPOB. They could not link it because there was no room for that. It was not possible. In all the wickedness of Nigeria, they could not find a common ground to link it, and they dropped it. But this same Simon Ekpa was jailed by the Finnish government, Europeans who make investigations. They came to Nigeria, made investigation, went back with it. Among the things they found out was that, number one, Simon Ekpa committed terrorism by killing Igbos, whom in his bid to enforce the sit at home, his boys killed people. There was the case of a woman that was also killed. Okay, so that made him a terrorist. NNAMDI KANU will not kill any Biafran. So, then number two, he was accused of money laundering and is in jail. So, in a foreign country, that means his record has been damaged. Just like Tinubu's record was damaged and is damaged in America. It is only in Nigeria where he can be a president with a damaged record. The same thing with Shetima, who is the vice president. It's only in Nigeria, and he's a terrorist. It's only in Nigeria that such a person can be the vice president. Even Gumi, who was deported from Saudi Arabia, it's only in Nigeria where the government can listen to him and give him security personnel to go and visit terrorists and begin to negotiate on their behalf. So the Biafra we want does not need people like Simon Ekpa, who has a bad record, to come and be a leader. Do you understand? So you don't link up that those guys that come out on YouTube. There was this young man. He normally gets information and gives to us. I enjoy what he gives, but the problem is he's not properly informed. Or if he's not properly informed, or he is, the point is he is mixing things, and by mixing it is confusing the whole issue. NNAMDI KANU has no relationship with Simon Ekpa in the Biafran struggle. It is loud and clear. Some people that broke away from Simon Ekpa's gang, you know, Simon Ekpa had his BRGIE, when he went to jail, two groups came out. Ngoso Rabese held one, Ogenkere held the other one. Ogenkere is the guy that hired one suit, which Prince and I went to do investigation and showed it to the whole world. That suit in 7220 Bel Road or 7200 Bel Road here in Maryland was the place where Simon went and showed in the internet that they have acquired the whole building. And when I told the Biafrans, they were insulting me, those people who were working with Simon. But at the end of the day, they discovered, because I met the man who owns the place and asked him, he said, no, there's nothing like BRGIE there. That what he knows is somebody rented a shoot 2. We went and did a video of that shoot. And the man said that person is using that shoot. That unless he had done a sublet of that shoot to another person. So those of you in Nigeria there who are doing your vlog or blog or nonsense, I don't want to insult you, but I get angry in the way you throw out your information because you're looking for money. And you begin to mix NNAMDI KANU with Simon Ekpa. It's very annoying. Okay, please let me see whether I can bring you in so you can find the button. Yeah, I'm going to invite you now, Prince. Yeah, I've just invited you. I hope they will do the needful. They will not misbehave. I'm going to invite you again. I'm going to add you. I'm sending a request. I invited and I also added. So that was what happened. So and myself went to make that investigation, and at the end of the day, seeing the fraudulent activity of Simon Ekpa, trying to use NNAMDI KANU as a leverage to gain something, and then hoping he would die, then present himself. We took away the Biafran flag and told him that you are lying, we shall keep this flag when Onyendu comes back, because Biafra cannot be identified with fraudulent activities. It cannot be. You cannot bring a person like Simon Ekpa to come and lead Biafra. He has a record. Are you not ashamed of yourself? So some of Simon Ekpa's gang members who left, either Ogenkere or Ngoso Rabweze, they came and met me. They wanted me to join them. But when they were talking, they had sympathy with Simon Ekpa, didn't want to mention anything about NNAMDI KANU. I told them, no, I can't deal with you. That the only person we know in this struggle is NNAMDI KANU. And he has been suffering, he has paid the price. Simon Ekpa did not pay any price for Biafra. Simon paid the price for terrorism and money laundering. NNAMDI KANU did not pay any price for terrorism. He paid the price for speaking the truth for the liberation of his people. These are two different things. Tomorrow, when he comes out, those of you bloggers who come out and start talking trash, that you were the one that were advocating, promoting NNAMDI KANU, why don't they allow it? No, you must have standards. You must stand for the truth. You must declare it. You must not be carried away by what you see. Because our people easily get carried away. And if these bloggers have a lot of money coming into their okay, let me invite you again, please. I'm adding you. Send request. Also invite. I've already invited you. Is there? So these bloggers, if they get money, they will steal. They will collect and compromise their position. Yeah, Prince, I can see you're joining. So that is why. So separate Simon Ekpa from NNAMDI KANU. Prince, you're welcome. This is Prince.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
This is the man. They cost you and I. They're looking for us to kill us because we removed the flag. So can you please just, you've been listening to me. So you just continue from where I stopped for some time. You're welcome, Prince.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Pastor. It's very kind of you, and I'm happy to be here with you and your audience. Yes, you're making a very valid point. I like the fact that you are able to distinguish clearly between the antecedents of NNAMDI KANU and the rogue actor who tried to actually destroy the Biafrans, genuine Biafran struggle. Thank you for making those distinctions. It's important that we understand that this struggle has to be purely fought. And NNAMDI KANU had shown every genuine Biafran how to be a Biafran. A Biafran is unbribable. To bribe a human being is a sin. For a human being to collect a bribe is also a sin, because it places money above human beings that made or recreated the money out of tree, cotton, linen, and copper in working in partnership with nature.
Exactly.
To be bribeable simply means that you are willing to actually destroy the geese because of the golden eggs produced
Yeah.
by geese. So it is human beings that recreated money. It is human beings that gave money the value it has. To accept
Mm-hmm.
to sell a human being or to destroy a human being or for any such purposes simply means that you're not yet a human being. You don't understand what money is. You don't know how money came about. You don't know who made money. So you
Yeah.
can never place money above your fellow human being because that is idolatrous in the eye of God. So I am glad that NNAMDI KANU has clearly shown genuine Igbo people, genuine Biafrans, how to be human beings. You can't be bribable,
Yeah.
especially when human life is at stake. So Biafra is a righteous cause. Forget about those like the guy in Finland. I hate to mention his name because mentioning his name is almost giving him what he does not
Credibility or
deserve. Yeah,
popularity or
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I couldn't mention
Yeah.
his name because
I got
he's actually a lunatic.
you.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and there are many like him who have used the honorable divine name of Biafra to dehumanize others, to steal, to to seek for their own stupid aggrandizement. But the thing is, the truth will continue to rise. The truth must continue to go forth. And because NNAMDI KANU has laid down his own life for his people, because he
Yes.
said, look, let me tell you, NNAMDI KANU, okay? I don't want to go down the road of prophecy or being a prophet, because of course you know that Nigerians have destroyed the name or the word prophecy. But Nnamdi
Mm-hmm.
Kanu had stated things that everybody is witnessing.
Yeah.
Nnamdi Kanu had made, there is nothing he had said that we are not witnessing. The only
Yes.
thing now remaining is the coming of
Okay.
Biafra, the
Yes.
restoration of Biafra.
Yes.
Biafra is there, it's just about restoring it. Okay, that is the
Yes.
only thing remaining. And he did warn Nigeria, he did warn everybody that, look, whether you like it or not, Elohim, God Almighty, would give this Biafra, would deliver this Biafra. And it
To
doesn't
us.
matter what any human being does, he
Yeah.
will deliver Biafra. Okay?
Amen.
And everybody will
Amen.
see it. He even further told them that, look, it doesn't matter what you do. In fact, if you killed me, the Biafra itself will come quicker, quicker. It
Quicker.
will come
Yeah.
quicker. And
Yeah.
I'm quite sure he was talking based on authority. Look, let me tell you something, and I believe everybody should really note this down. I am so proud to have lived to see Nnamdi Kanu, a true Igbo
Yeah.
man, the only man in the history of humanity who stood before a discredited court and really reduced them to nothing, stood
Mm.
before the court and told the criminal judge who he is, told the judge that he was a liar. He was actually the prosecutor. He wasn't a
Mm.
judge. I mean, you
Yes.
have never seen this anywhere in the world. Nelson Mandela did not do it. No human being on earth had
No
tried
problem.
it. To be in
Yeah.
a court and destroyed every nonsense that was before him. You know, look, if people haven't taken note of that, then they are
Yeah.
missing out on a lot. This guy
Exactly.
made history. Okay.
He made it.
So
Yeah.
I strongly believe, okay, and what people don't know is that they don't even understand what being Igbo means. Okay, even Nnamdi Kanu had told them, you are Igbo people, you are Ndibo the Asians, you were here before them all. We knew, look, it's not your name is Chukwuemeka, okay? We began to talk about God before any other. Our
Yeah.
name root from God. Forget about
Yeah.
those who became, who sold their souls to the devil and then caused us this crazy mayhem we are in. If not that people became very materialistic and began to sell themselves. Okay, they preferred these earthly things that are transient to who they really are, and also prefer these things to God, who made them who they are. We won't be in this situation. But there are
Exactly.
still you and I. There is NNAMDI KANU. There are people that are genuine Igbo, the original, the organic. Okay? Forget about these
Yes.
adulterated ones that don't even
Yeah.
understand what life is all about. So I just
Exactly.
want to commend you for your efforts. I want to commend
Thank you
those
so
that
much.
are genuine. I want to,
Mm.
support this wonderful broadcast. I just thought,
But don't
okay,
go
let
away
me,
yet. Don't
sorry.
don't run away yet. Don't run
Oh,
away yet. Don't run away
okay.
yet. I know you're busy. I know you're very
Okay.
busy.
Yes. You know, I'm a very
You're in
busy
your
man.
car. So
So
I can see you.
you,
Yes, I
you,
know. You're very busy.
you
So
proceed. I'll give you another 5 minutes before I disappear.
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what we are trying to establish today is there should be a separation between NNAMDI KANU and Simon Ekpa, between IPOB and BRGIE. The Biafran struggle started with Ojukwu. NNAMDI KANU has taken it to the heights. Any
Yes.
other person that is coming with a different agenda, we don't know him, it's not recognized. Even the
Yes.
international community does not recognize them. So those of them that are fronting their various semi-conductor leaders coming up with this nonsense, we are here to make it plain. Stop associating Biafra with NNAMDI KANU and Simon Ekpa. Because if you bring Simon Ekpa to NNAMDI KANU, you put their pictures, you discredit everything NNAMDI KANU stands for. But we
Yeah.
are standing to say that they don't have any connection. Yeah.
Thank you so much for making that point. And let me tell you something. Anybody putting Nnamdi Kanu's picture and that of this lunatic in
Yes.
Finland
Yes.
actually is unintelligent. The person
Yes.
does not know anything because the criminal in Finland, okay, actually made it clear that he has nothing to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Biafran struggle. What are they called?
Yes.
They are called Biafra Republic.
Yes.
Biafra Republic never existed. There is nothing
Never.
called Biafra Republic. It only exists
Yes.
online. What we
Online.
have and what we have always had is Republic of Biafra.
Of
Okay?
Biafra. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
he
Exactly.
himself and those following him had already made that separation. It is the lunatics who are uneducated, who are stupid, that cannot see that very clearly. What
Exactly.
the chief in Finland was pursuing was a totally different agenda that has nothing to do with Republic of
A,
Biafra
a
or
totally
indigenous people of
different,
Biafra.
a
So
totally different
and
agenda.
it is there in black and white. He
Yeah.
is representing an online Biafra Republic. It is
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with the Republic of Biafra. These are two different things
Exactly.
completely. So please,
Exactly. Exactly.
on that note, I want to say thank you so much and keep up the good work. I've
Thank
got to
you.
go now. Okay.
God bless you, Prince. Have a
Bless
nice
you
day.
too. Bless you too. You take care.
So,
Okay.
Biafra, thank you, Prince. So, Biafrans, we take this opportunity also to tell other people who are fronting themselves, whether in America, either to project a picture to the Americans that they have the mandate of Onyendu. China Sanworu came up with a publication in Urobo Biafra TV. I listened, I read it. If you are speaking for IPOB with Nnamdi Kanu as your leader, that is understood. But if you come with an idea that you think is better than what Nnamdi Kanu represents, the question I ask you, why didn't you start from the beginning? Because God does not make mistakes. And in most cases, when God wants to raise a leader, He doesn't go to the noble family to raise leaders. When David was raised to be king, he was a shepherd boy in the wilderness. 14 years, he was anointed. Was not supposed, there was Eliab, the elder brother of David. They were there. There was Shammah. None of them were taken up. So God will always go and pick somebody like Gideon, whom he made a leader in Israel, like Jephthah. God will go and pick those people whom he has looked into their hearts, raise them up to be those that will be the shepherd of his flock. And a good shepherd will lay down his life for his flock. That was what David did. That was the same thing that our Lord Jesus Christ did. That's the same thing Paul did. And that is what NNAMDI KANU has done. Jesus said in the book of John, I think chapter 16, he says, greater sacrifice than no man do than when he lays down his life for his friends. NNAMDI KANU has laid down his life. Simon Ekpa did not lay his life down for you. He's a criminal and a charlatan. You saw him dancing, eating money, and exhibiting. NNAMDI KANU will never do that because he knows what is at stake. When he had meeting with the Eastern State governors, he told them, we need good roads in Igbo land. Before he started making, when they begged him to stop, let them discuss with him. He said, we need good roads, good hospitals, functional educational system. We need to set up structures so that the environment will be enabled for good governance and good living, godly living. And he said that Biafra is said to come, that nobody can stop it. In fact, if anybody thinks killing him will stop it, no, killing him will even make it come quicker, sooner than expected. That is the hallmark of a true leader. That is why I say I follow NNAMDI KANU in the Biafran struggle. I stand with him and by him. Every other person that are coming outside to show up themselves, if you are doing it with a good intention that Onyendu is the leader of IPOB, and you're presenting him, and if he comes out, whenever he comes out, not if, he will come out. When he comes out, we're bringing him as leader of Biafra, that's fine. But if you are doing a carryover of the Nigerian mentality into Biafra, it will not work. It will not work because we also shall stand. I'm not interested in leadership, but we shall stand there to speak. We shall stand there to speak and tell Onyendu all the time we're working. Look at these people, look into them very well. You cannot do anyway. He knows what he will do. Okay, so that's one. Those of you who are in diaspora, wherever you are in Europe or in America, doing everything you are doing, go ahead and do it. Nobody says you should not do, but don't claim anything. In fact, I was discussing with Prince. I told him that there are 4 persons who have frontally worked in this Biafran struggle. 3, most importantly, 1 is the Almighty God himself, Elohim, to him be the glory, who gave this vision. Number 2, NNAMDI KANU, the person he gave the vision to, and he passed through the fire. Faithfully, he did not fail. Number 3, his lawyers who stood by him all throughout this period, going from one case to the other, whether the old or new ones, because when NNAMDI KANU comes out, he will not tell us which is which among the lawyers, which one betrayed him, which one did a good job, or whatever. Then the 4th person, incidentally, came up as a result of a situation. Killings in Benue, Plateau, Southern Kaduna, Taraba. Compelled CBN to invite a Nigerian to come and speak. The man comes from the Middle Belt. And then he began to speak. Listen, he spoke about Nigerian Christians being killed. He did not mention Biafra. Even the other one that was invited to the US Senate, Congress to come and speak to them, he never mentioned Biafra. They were all mentioning killing of Christians in Nigeria. Even the Americans, that is the way it is being given to them, they take. That's the information they gave them. They did not tell them that they were killing Biafrans. That was the reason why I stood against Reverend Dachimo, the man from Plateau State that was crying, and everybody is hailing him. He's a great man. Listen, I told him openly, until they began to kill people from Benue and Plateau States, nobody heard his voice. Because it has touched some people. All this while they were killing Igbos. He was in Nigeria in the time of Buhari, in the time of Tinubu, at the early stage. He never opened his mouth for one day to speak against the killing of Christians in the southeast. That is the truth. Because when NNAMDI KANU wants to speak, he is going to speak on behalf of the oppressed. Whether you are a Fulani man, you are being oppressed. Hausa man, you are being oppressed. a Yoruba man, you're being oppressed. Igbo man, the Niger Delta people, anybody that is being oppressed, NNAMDI KANU speaks on their behalf. Remember when he was in detention? He came out and gave a whole history. He talked about Zaki. He talked about this person, talked about this person, talked about Fashoranti and all the rest. And his daughter that was killed. NNAMDI KANU represents the broad community so that he can carry their burden to the whole world. There was a place where I saw him arguing that the issue of making presidency in Nigeria is foolish because it's not going to work. All of them are corrupt, neither from Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa, or Fulani. So, but Dachmo started talking when they began to kill people from Benue and Plateau states. He began to weep and cry. In as much as we sympathize with our brethren that were killed, the truth is those same Benue people, before they got killed, while the killing lasted in Biafra, none of them opened their mouth to speak. That is one thing that is going on in Nigeria. So when Reverend Dachmo was talking, I did not very much buy his crying. Because in as much as he's crying that they are killing his members and his brothers, what about those of us in the East that they were being killed every day? What did Dachmo say? Then number two, you see what is happening in Benue, Plateau State, Taraba State, Southern Kaduna? It is a recompense of their error, which is meet against God and us, his people. When the Igbos were fleeing from the north after during the pogrom, most of them were intercepted in the Benue area, Axis, Middle Belt, and then killed. Their heads were sent to Juku as presents. That's a wickedness that they did against people. God saw it. You cannot keep it under it. So what you see happening in Benue State is a recompense of their error, which is meat. Not that I like it, but the point is the government, the judgment of God has nothing to do with your own decision or my own decision, your own like or my own like. God is faithful. The Bible says judgment and justice are the habitations of his throne. Righteousness and justice, that's the habitation of God's throne. He's the righteous judge. So when you see Benue people being killed, NNAMDI KANU warned them. It was the axis of when you talk about the Middle Belt people that fought the war. You have T.Y. Danjuma, you have General Gowon, you have this man, David Mack, you have what's his name? I.D. Bisala, and all the other them that combined and were killing us. They fought the war against Biafra. So they are suffering it. And I'm not rejoicing that they are suffering. I feel for them, but it is what they deserve. Because God allowed it to happen to them, that they may know that the Igbos felt so bad when they killed them. When they were running, they, apart from the fact that they fought the war against us, at the early stage, they killed our men, put their heads and sent it to Juku down east. It is evil. It is wicked. Because that is one thing that is lacking in Nigeria. In Nigeria, where Gumi went to Saudi Arabia and was deported, he came to Nigeria and was accepted. He went about going with political, security details to go and visit bandits. It's only in Nigeria something happened. Where the government will go and begin to launder their image by bribing people. $9 million, calculated 1 point something billion naira. $1.4 billion naira per dollar times 9. It is enough to take care of the IDP camps. Tinubu does not care about them. He's talking about laundering his image. And that's why I have a man like Ruben Abati trying to defend Tinubu. That is Nigeria. That is the way they think. You don't expect anything better from Ruben Abati. When they interviewed Dr. Kunle, he personally recommended Rufai Oseni, or whatever I call his name, that young man, because he stood and was saying the truth. And I just want to tell Rufai, the God of the Muslims is not the same with our own God. So we're not serving the same God. There was a time he made that comment. Listen, we are saying the truth. It's nothing personal. We're just looking at it objectively. We don't serve the same God. The God of the Muslims is different from our own God. The God of the Muslims induces them by doctrine and bring and expand his territory. Our own God tells you to give life. He said the fruit of the lips of the righteous man is life. He that winneth souls is wise. God teaches us to win souls, not to destroy them. Now, Jesus came and died for the sins of the whole world. Muhammad didn't die for the world. He came to kill people and co-opt them into Islam. Muhammad had several women, married a girl of about 9 years. He was a rapist. It has nothing to do with Jesus Christ our Lord, the Son of the living God. So this thing should be separated. So Rufai or Sani or whatever your name is, please don't bring this issue of saying that the Muslims and the Christians worship the same God. No, we don't. If you're a Muslim, that's yours. You and I don't worship the same God. Jesus is not your Lord. If it is, you'll be born again. And you stop the. In fact, anybody who is praying for one Nigeria to stand, that I doubt your faith as a Christian. Because Nigeria is a total opposite of what Jesus Christ stands for or did on the cross of Calvary. You understand? So those of you who are fronting, whatever you're fronting, it has no relationship with the Biafran struggle. And that brings it also within the local community in Nigeria there. Anything you're doing, those of you who are bloggers, that young man that does his vlogging, he came up with a conversation. I replied him. I don't want to blow it out of proportion. I replied him. I've forgotten his name. He's clean cut, you know, he has his hair dark. If you look at his face, he looks like a lawyer. He has the face of somebody who could be a good lawyer. And he argues his points very well. But he's mistaken at certain areas, and somebody needs to put him in the know. You don't link light and darkness. Simon is darkness. You don't link him with NNAMDI KANU, who came to be a light for his people. You don't. Even the Nigerian government could not connect Simon to NNAMDI KANU's case. They couldn't. They couldn't find any ground. No ground. Even though he was jailed in Finland, which would have been the basis, if Simon had a connection with NNAMDI KANU, the jailing of Simon would have been enough. Part of the reason why NNAMDI KANU would have been convicted by the Nigerian government. But the Nigerian government couldn't find any ground to link Simon Ekpa to NNAMDI KANU. It is Biafrans who are linking them together. These foolish people. And all those who rose up against NNAMDI KANU, they are scattering. When Simon started, he went to jail. His kingdom, his third kingdom was divided into two. I told you, she was in my platform. Did everything. She couldn't contribute anything reasonable. Because she first approached me, she wanted to see Simon. And I was planning to call Simon's attention to tell him she had already gone over and she just overwhelmed Simon, either with her front and her back and her money. And he was carried, hook, line, and sinker. That's his problem. Ogen Kere was the one that rented a suit. I went there and saw it, and I showed it to the whole Biafrans. That's Ogen Kere now. They have divided camp. Ogen Kere has one camp, Ngozi has one camp. From what we're hearing, Ogen Kere is now there. BRGI. So Simon has been overthrown. Have you seen? And then this young man came out today. I was listening to him. This young man I'm referring to on YouTube. He was saying that Simon is not dead and that he was against Ogen Kere because Ngozi Rabweze criticized Ogen Kere. I've forgotten that young man's name. He's a very strong advocate, but he's misguided. He's misguided. He should stop that thing he's doing. He should not link NNAMDI KANU with Simon Ekpa. So he began to produce that of Ngozi, that how can you overthrow your father? Okay, it's older than Simon in the first place. And if you talk about father, he has to, in the Biafran struggle, Simon is no father to anybody. If his father is father to vagabonds like Rafael Ajere, these are vagabond Christians. He's a vagabond to a vagabond father, to a vagabond daughter, like Adandimbu and Ndegede. All those useless people, look at them. The whole pack, they're all in disarray. We are still standing. They gave us 3 weeks that we will die. I'm still standing. Prince is still standing. Adukum is still standing. And my brother also is still standing. We are standing because we stand for the truth. We're not afraid. Okay, so thank you very much. I want you to get that straight. I don't have much time to discuss this because there were other areas I wanted to go, but we've taken enough time. I just want to put it clear. Those of you that say Simon Ekpa is this, you are mistaken. Even the Nigerian government could not link Simon to NNAMDI KANU. NNAMDI KANU said you cannot kill the people whom you say you're protecting. Simon Ekpa, in his bid to enforce sit at home, Biafrans were killed. He is a terrorist. And therefore, he was arrested and locked and sent to prison for terrorism and money laundering. You cannot use that man to come out unless you are trying to reenact Tinubu's character in the new Biafra. It's not going to happen. I'm not interested in office in Biafra, I've told you. But I'm going to stand to speak. I'm coming back home as soon as we get Biafra. That's why I'm going to continue my ministry work. America has never been my vision. I'm telling you the gospel truth. The God of heaven is my witness. America has never been my dream country. God only sent me here on a transit to prepare me ahead for time so that I will speak concern. I'm coming back to Biafra. And I'm going to come down real on the ground, not organizing international conferences. I'm not interested. I'm going to root to the village people, meet those that don't have anything. Whatever I have, I buy things after we preach, we give them. ma bakwa plane lokwa America for the next 3-4 months 5 months mkpatakwa ego mlakwa alibo mge preach gide ha ti all na Jesus be fine. If I'm able to run around the whole of the Biafran region, then I can be talking of going to Australia, because that is the vision that God gave me to go to Australia. Okay, so it's not here or whatever. My spirit is not taking trapped here. No, never. God forbid. God didn't make mistake in making me an Igbo man, a Biafran man. And I'm not afraid. God bless you. Remain steadfast and committed. Don't be carried away. Igbo is in Germany. He's enjoying his money. They have bribed him. If NNAMDI KANU has accepted, he would have been enjoying today. And those of you who are running around, if you try here, you don't get it, you turn against NNAMDI KANU. Anybody who comes out to tell me NNAMDI KANU, can you do it? If you were in NNAMDI KANU's position, would you have done better? You can't do better. You can't. That's why God didn't call you. God saw you. He saw me and called NNAMDI KANU. Why don't you follow him? If you don't want to follow him, get out of the thing and keep your peace. And let us run this struggle. Humble yourself before the man whom God has raised. Age has no regard for it, but the man that God has anointed. God bless you and have a wonderful day. In Jesus' name, amen and amen.